Fancy. Okay. So the first presentation we have for the day is from West Valley Community Services. And let's see.
So can we share? Do we have a share?
Yeah, so earlier I allowed all participant screen sharing. So go ahead and try to share. You should be able to.
Okay. So hi everyone. Thank you, Alexis, for letting us present today. So I'm Benaifer, and I'm the Rapid Rehousing Coordinator for the agency. So West Valley Community Services is located in Cupertino. Our mission is uniting the community to fight hunger and homelessness. Our history is that we were a nonprofit that was founded in 1973 by 3 public health nurses. Who we are is we serve individuals. We are a zip code limited EAN agency, like Emergency Assistance Agency. So we serve the communities of Cupertino, Saratoga, West Los Gatos, we offer emergency financial assistance to all the zip codes that we work in. And so pre-COVID, PG&E used to send those shut-off notices. And so we would help clients to pay for PG&E bills. Past due rent is, of course, a big thing right now in the situation that we are. So we assist clients for that. We pay moving deposit, first month's rent. And we are also a part of the Homeless Prevention System Network, Destination Home and Sacred Heart. So we also participate in the programs. So the HPS rental assistance is a part of our program. We also have a market. We don't call it a food pantry, we call it a market pantry. It's a market style pantry. We just renovated it, and you can see it's like a store experience, and that was based on the feedback we got from the client. It's kind of the dignity they feel they're walking into and shopping. So this is our market pantry. The people, the clients get to shop once a week, and then Friday afternoon is produce only. So basically a client can do twice a week. Friday afternoons for produce, and the rest of the once a week, they can pick up anything they want. We also have just got a new mobile food pantry truck, and we serve, the truck goes to Moreland School District, Rosemary Elementary, De Anza, and West Valley students get we also go to those locations. The clients there who come for these mobile pantry can also enroll for all of our services right there. So not only do they get food, but they have access to all the other services that we provide on site. We offer case management for all our clients who are interested. We plan goals with them. We help them to connect to resources based on their needs. We have a self-sufficiency matrix, which we monitor. We connect them to benefits. We also offer other special programs and supportive services, because we believe every supportive service that we give, we help the clients towards self-sufficiency or in their time. And these are some of the programs that we help with. Actually, WIDA has been so great this time. So many of our clients who never filed taxes, we could help them with volunteer income tax preparation. So many of them got their stimulus checks, and so a bit of money in their pocket. We also have this financial empowerment program where they get to work with volunteer coaches, work on budget, improving their credit score. So ultimately that helps them in their goals. We have a rapid rehousing program. Obviously, those clients come from county referral, and the rental assistance under the program that we give is between 12 to 24 months in the sliding scale. Again, they get all the services and the programs that I mentioned above. So it helps them to plan, budget, save money, and in the end towards self-sufficiency. And then I will pass this on to my colleague, Abel.
Hi everyone, my name is Abel and I am the Heaven to Home caseworker. And next we're gonna talk about the Heaven to Home program. So for the home care program, we accept walk-ins and referrals, and when they first come to our office, we have them fill out an intake form and we get a copy of their ID. And if they do have income, we ask for proof of income, and then after that, we would complete the VIS for that, and we would for them to community. And our goal is to help them get off the street and into safer locations. So when they are in the community, you know, we connect them to shelters, safe parking programs, bridge housing, and then our other for receiving lunch quarters. We provide toiletries. They could access the food pantry. We provide bus passes. I'm going to be talking about that on the next slide. We help with emergency financial assistance for car repairs, DMV fees, ID vouchers. We do housing search and also have access to any other service offered by our agency. And then, so for the uplift pass, it would be for homeless and those experiencing homelessness. So it provides quarterly transit passes for those experiencing homelessness or at risk of losing their housing due to lack of transportation. Provide bus tokens. We have the TAP Bus Pass program, which would be for a month. So for example, if they were to get a TAP Bus Pass for June, it would be from June for and get a new one. And then we also have the RIDE program, which for senior transportation, and it is zip code restricted for all they're residing in Saratoga, Los Gatos, Campbell, Cupertino, and parts of San Jose. And then the next, I'm going to be talking about the intake process. So for eligibility, we have to make sure that the clients meet the codes. So these are the zip codes: 95014, 9530, 95032, 9503, 5044, 95070, 95129, and 95130. Okay, and then so these are the required documents that we ask for. So we ask for a photo ID for all adults, and then we would also ask for a form of ID for all children below age 18, and then we would ask for a current lease agreement and a copy of their PG&E bill or any other official mail within the past 30 days. And we would also ask for proof of income within the past 30 days and any supporting pertaining to the current situation. And this is our address. This is our phone number, 408-255-8033. And if you guys have any questions or you guys refer clients, you guys will send it to this email, reset@wvcommunityservices. And
What are you doing?
Operation Monday through Friday from 8 a.m. to 5 p.m.
Yeah, and if you have any questions, then feel free to put it in the chat, or we can put our emails if you need to contact us. Thank you.
Hi, everyone. So I know Abel's internet was maybe a little cutting in and out. So now is the time to ask questions if you have them. It looks like Jenny, is that a question? If they are homeless, they don't need documentation associated to those specific zip codes?
Yes, so for homeless, we are not zip code limited. So anybody can walk to our doors and say they're homeless, and we just have an intake packet and ID, and that's about it. And they get all the services that we mentioned.
And Alejandra says, what scores do you accept from the queue?
No, so the choice is not ours. It's the county that sends us the clients. And I know that the rapid rehousing score is supposed to be between 4 to 7 for individuals and 4 to 8 for families. But we get all kinds of scores from the county. It's the county OSH who picks up the clients and gives it to us. So that's what we work with.
I have a follow-up.
That's just for the rapid rehousing.
Okay. And then what if we wanted to refer a client over to like the homeless housing program that you all offer? What does that look like?
So like you see, rapid rehousing is a different program. And then for the homeless, they can walk into and all the other supportive services that they get. We try to connect them, get them off the street through the programs like Abel mentioned, safe parking, bridge housing. If they are health vulnerable, then through a motor voucher program, through another agency. And then we work on housing with them, but it is obviously they are assessed and also put in the county queue. But as they wait in the county queue to be pulled for rapid rehousing, we work on them on different aspects, helping them, connecting them to employment if they are ready. There is resume building, there is financial empowerment. So some of the people who are unhoused or homeless do have some kind of income or fixed. So we work accordingly. And then if there is a housing available for them and they have some kind of income, we will try to get them housed and maybe assess them under the homeless prevention system, and then try to get them some rental assistance that way. So we try and work with the clients based on their readiness and what they kind of are ready to move or what steps they are ready to move. But our first priority is trying to get them off the street. And so whatever ways we can get them in transitional housing or all the other options that I mentioned, we try to do that, because only when we do that and they have a roof over their head, whether it is bridge housing, a motel program, or a shelter, we can work, or they are ready to work on other aspects. So that's what we do. I hope that answered your question.
Yes, thank you.
And I had a question as well. If someone who's homeless does not have an ID, does that mean they can't receive services until they get an ID?
I don't think so. We do accept the clients. I think there are other ways we can verify their ID, but we help them with DMV voucher to get a new ID, but they have to be a client for 30 days just because in the DMV voucher, we vouch for the clients, right? So if we do not know who they are, so 30 days they take service, we get to know them, then we help them to get we give them the free DMV voucher to get the ID. So nobody is turned away from our doors if they are homeless.
Thank you. Anyone else have any questions?
I had a question. Is there ways that we can request uplift bus passes on behalf of our participants, or do they need to come to your agency directly?
So all the services that we offer for our clients. So they do need to be our clients. That does not mean that they could not be taking services from other agencies. That's fine, because we are all here to connect clients to resources that we may be offering some resources, but there may be certain others we may not, and another agency offers. So we all work to serve the client. So if your client wants help with the Uplift Bus Pass, if they are homeless, then definitely they can come into our agency, they can become our clients, and then we can help them with that.
Thank you.
And Kiana, just to add on to that, there are also many other agencies that can give out Uplift bus passes, like Downtown Streets Team is one. Many of the agencies on this call right now have access to Uplift bus passes. And different organizations might have different requirements, like whether they need to be their clients or they can only get it for homeless clients. So, you know, that being said, they can go other places for a bus pass too if West Valley Community Services is either too far or doesn't work for them. So don't feel like the client is limited to only going to one service provider for bus passes or for any other services.
I have a question. Hi, Alexis. Nice to meet you. Hi. So do you guys go to them? Is there any way to get, because not everybody can come to you. Is that possible?
Yes, so during COVID, obviously there were certain restrictions on what we case managers, travel restrictions, but as we are getting back to normal life, we have no restrictions of not going to the clients. So we do go, we do travel, we do help them and reach them, because there are clients who may not have transportation. And there are clients who have other difficulties. So yes, so as a rapid rehousing coordinator, I too go out and visit the clients where they can meet. Able to does that. So yes.
Thank you.
Awesome. Well, if you don't mind putting your contact information in the chat so that when I send out that follow-up email, people can easily reach you both. Thank you for your wonderful presentation. Did you want me to send out your slides to the group as well?
So I will send you our flyer and the slides, Alexis. Okay. And then you can send it. Sure. Thank you.
Perfect. All right. Thank you guys so much. The next presentation we have today is from, let me pull it up. Mental Health Systems Linked program. I saw Justin and Cecilia. Are you both still with us?
Yes, I'm still here, and I'm here with my coworker, my colleague Dee Nguyen.
Awesome.
Hi, good morning.
The floor is yours. You should be able to screen share, so take it away.
Awesome. So good morning, everyone. Thank you so much for being present here with us today. My name is Dee Nguyen. I am a Justice Enhanced Case Manager for the LINKS program within the Mental Health Systems Inc. agency for Santa Clara County.
Yes, and can you guys confirm if you can see the PowerPoint?
Yep, we're good to go.
Perfect. Thank you, Dee. My name is Justin. I'm also a Justice Enhanced Case Manager with the LINKS program. Yeah, we're just excited to be able to get on here and present today. So let's get started.
So this is linked within MHS systems. So what is linked? So our objectives for this program is to provide community service and resource navigation for our clients. Another objective of ours is to assess the client's needs and further assess exactly what they're needing assistance with. Within the assessment process of our objectives is to identify barriers to reintegration in order for us to further assess their needs and be able to assist them with achieving goals, and also linking them to other resources and services that will assist them with achieving their goals. Another really big objective of ours is to establish connections to CBOs such as you all in order for us to better assess the client's needs and potentially link them to other CBOs in order for them to build better daily functioning, and also just improve their needs overall, and also to advocate for the needs of our clients. And within our goals, one of our main goals is resource connection. So like, again, tying to community service and resource navigation for the clients, collaborating with potential CBOs and nonprofit organizations and other programs within Santa Clara County to assist the client's needs, reduce the client's recidivism as well, due to our clients or the clientele that we're serving. They are within the justice system, and also clients who have a criminal background history, and also as well to develop self-efficacy and independence, and also motivation for the client to do better and become a more productive and active member of society.
Yes, thank you, Dee. Moving on to eligibility requirements. So who can actually get LINK? As Dee mentioned, we work with the homeless and criminal justice involved populations. We typically want our clients to be recently released from custody, having spent at least 30 days in custody, and then homeless and unemployed when they are released. And this is limited to folks who are incarcerated in Santa Clara County. We can also work with some prison releases as well. And they can be referred directly from custody in the community, the courts. We've been working with Prop 36 and at the Family Justice Center. So we have a few different referral streams, and of course, through you all, through the community. So yes, in the community, recently released from custody. Right now we're looking for, as soon as close to as recently released as possible. So we can be a little bit more flexible as long as it's under 12 months. We're looking more for the under 6 month range. So, clients from the Reentry Resource Center, we do outreach there. We'll talk a little bit more about that. So we get referrals directly from them. And then folks involved with the judicial court system. So like I said, folks from the Family Justice Center, Hall of Justice, anyone who's on supervised release, and also unemployed and homeless. So that's our target population is, those individuals who are getting released from custody that don't have a place to go and just need some extra help linkage to other services. Now, a client would be ineligible if they're already receiving case management services through another agency. And we're more than happy to work with the client and try and figure out what those services might be. If they're confused on maybe if they have a case manager at the shelter or through their substance use provider, we're more than happy to kind of talk to them and see what we might be able to do and support them. So it's kind of on that discretionary basis.
So again, just to add on to that as well, depending on like the client situation and where they're currently at and their status, we're able to conduct like an intake for an individual, and then we would then forward that intake to upper management to kind of further assess the client's needs. And then that's also when we can determine if the client can be eligible for our services or ineligible as well. And then at that point, if a client is ineligible to receive our services, we can then also be the liaison for the client and link them to other CBOs that would fit their needs.
Great point, Pete. Moving on to the next slide.
So within our scope of services, the first thing within our intake process is the assessment for immediate needs. So when we first meet with the client, we conduct the intake paperwork. We then further assess like exactly what the client is needing assistance with within our end of case management. So some of the immediate needs that we're able to provide is transportation services, assistance with making first appointments, whether it's medical or court hearings, or even meeting with a probation officer, or anything related to employment resources or housing resources, you name it. We're there to assist the client with making the first appointments. Housing resources is a very big immediate needs and service that we also assist the client with. We'll kind of get into that a little bit more later. Another immediate needs that we also assess for is for medical, mental, and substance use treatment resources as well that we can assist the client to linking to. And then also we have food, clothing, and also benefits resources that we can assist the client and address with the clients, and other items as well, whether it can be also like sometimes we can provide clients with method of contact, such as a phone that we can also assist them with, or we can also link them to other resources that are able to provide them with a method of contact, such as obtaining a phone. So then as well, within our scope of services, we use SMART goals with objectives and achievable outcomes for our clients. We want to make sure that all the goals that we develop and collaborate with the client is realistic, measurable, and observable, and we're able to keep track of that on a monthly basis. Earlier in the presentation, we kind of stated that, or actually not yet, but our service terms is only it's pretty short term. So it is a max of 6 months. So there's a lot of progress tracking and monitoring within the 6 months in order to assist the client with achieving their goals. And then as well within our assessing of immediate needs is identifying their reintegrational barriers, because we do want to take a more strength-based approach to assisting the clients in reaching their goals. So we want to kind of acknowledge the barriers that the clients are going through in order for them to overcome that, and also develop the self-efficacy and independence within that as well.
And thank you so much, Dean. So approaches to engagement, some of the things that we're able to work on with our clients. We utilize lots of different strength-based approaches like Dee was talking about, with motivational interviewing and addressing criminogenic thinking, moral reasoning, pro-social behaviors. Really, we use our individual as well as our agency's trainings and through the county to kind of hone our skills and our services in to support the clients where they're at and where they're needed. I think we have a really amazing team of just diverse and, folks from different perspectives and different backgrounds that we're really able to kind of assess and say, hey, you know what, this client is going to be a great fit for, Dee or for, Justin, whoever that looks like. And we really, like the program says, we're the linked program. We just want to help people get linked to services. Whether we're providing those services or whether those services are out in the agency, that's kind of our goal, and that's how we approach everything, is how can we help, how can we link, and where can we go from there? And like Dee said, it is very short term, so we try to do as much as we can with the time that we do have.
So within our discharge, there's a few ways that we can discharge a client, whether it's going to be successful or unsuccessful. So the self-discharge can also be either successful or unsuccessful, where the client and the case manager can meet and then also consult about how their progress has been, and also if they're on track to at least meet one of the goals that they wanted to achieve once you did the intake paperwork, and just kind of like talking and just figuring out what the next steps are within the client's progress and where they're wanting to go after discharge. So that's one of the discharges that we have. And then another type of discharge that we have is the expiration of 6 months. Because it is a short-term program, we do tend to discharge the client after 6 months. However, I believe one of you asked, what if they do want to remain in the program after 6 months? It's based on the client's current status, and we would have to then consult with our upper management to see what we can do for the client. There are times where exceptions could be made, where it can be extended to maybe a month or so. However, again, it's based on the client's current status and their progress and where they're at. Because then also we can provide that, or we can link them to other CBOs or programs that can also assist the client or assist the client with continuing making progress. And that leads to the other type of discharge where we can transition a client to a higher level of care. So let's say that, for example, if we feel that the client, and also if the client feels that they're not able to, make as much progress, or the program is not the best fit for their needs, we're able to be the liaison person to assist them and link them to another program. For example, it could be referring them to the call center, and they can get linked to Momentum for Health, for example, where they would be provided mental health services as well as case management services or any other CBOs. And then another type of discharge that we have is more the unsuccessful side, where the client has been inactive or disengaged for an extended period of time. So for example, I actually used to be with Catholic Charities prior to being with this program. We would only allow a 3-week time frame of where a client is inactive or not engaged with us. However, we do provide a much longer and extended time frame for a client to reach out to us, where it can last about actually a good 3 months before we decide or discuss to see if it's time to discharge a client.
And thank you, Dee. And building off of especially that last point, you know, we try to do whatever we can to make sure our clients can be engaged, because there's lots of different things, especially working with a homeless, you know, a population of folks experiencing homelessness. We want to make sure that we're doing everything that we can to try and connect them. So we'll actually, you know, go out to whatever address or location that they're provided. We have access to HMIS, so we can kind of snoop around and try and find where they're at or their contact information. We always try to do, you know, releases of information, emergency contacts. And then if they're connected through, you know, probation or parole or through the reentry center, we try our best to keep folks engaged, which is why we kind of have a longer period in which we're willing to work with the client, and we're willing to wait with the client, because a lot of the times the clients will just end up showing back up and they're like, hey, you know, we need some extra help, and we're there. We want to be there to be able to support that client. So,
and also, to add on to that, Justin, thank you so much. You know, I know some programs as well tend to discharge if a client were to be reincarcerated. However, our program is not like that. So if a client does happen to be reincarcerated, we actually they're still an active client within our caseload, and we still try to work with them while they are incarcerated. So then we can also plan out a post-release plan for them, and then we kind of just pick up where we left off prior to the client being incarcerated.
That's a great point too, Dee. Before the pandemic, we just got our jail clearance actually, and then the pandemic hit. So we were actually able to go in custody and meet with folks before they were released. So hopefully within the next few months, we'll be able to restart that process and get back to engaging in the jails if needed. So, and then we have successful completion. So we talked about kind of the ways that we can have a successful completion, how there's discharges, but really, you know, it's when we agree with the client, you know, we talk to them and we get to that point of they came and they completed what they wanted to do, what their goals were. We had them set out, whether it's housing or employment or, you know, just accessing benefits, or if it's even just kind of more on the one touch side and we're only able to work and connect with them once, and that's what they needed, and they're able to kind of launch off from that point. We would consider that still a successful discharge, because we did what we could with the client when we had them. So that's where it's, you know, objectively closer to self-sufficiency, accomplishing at least one core need, or that warm handoff. So we're able to connect folks to whatever kind of level of care that they do need. Like you mentioned, you know, it could be like a mental health provider. It could be more on the substance use side, or it could be that, you know, they're just ready to go off on their own, and they got their, you know, they got over the hump that they were in, and they're ready to go. So that's really our goals. We try to be very flexible, and we try to be really responsive to our clients' needs. And so that way we can hopefully better link them to services. And this picture is a little, there's all of our staff there. Dee's not in it, but one of our clients actually got housing. So we're really, really excited for him. And we were able to take that picture, and it was like a congratulations moment. So it was really, really awesome to see that.
So where to find linked? So we are actually also tabling throughout the week on Mondays, Wednesdays, and Fridays at the Reentry Center from 1 p.m. to 4 p.m. We've been doing this kind of ever since the program has kind of lifted off the ground. So we're able to provide outreach and also meet with our clients there. And usually the Reentry Center is able to send referrals to through RTS, where we're able to meet with clients and also conduct intakes, as well as assess their needs, and also take the time to assist them with any linkages of resources or services right there and then. We are also we also table at Elmwood Correctional Facility on Fridays, and that's usually more on the later side for the late night releases. So we will actually be there from 7:30 to 10:30 on Fridays. And usually every time that linked is there, it's always a different case manager as we switch. So those are the times that you'll see us there. And then we obviously have our office right in the heart of downtown on Market Street. So that's where we're based at as well. I think his computer froze. Bear with us for a second.
My computer just crashed. Okay. Can you present it?
Yes. No worries. No worries. Okay, so his did crash. Let me go ahead and share my screen. I apologize. So here is one of our signature resources or immediate resources that we provide is care packages. So each care package has specific nutritious items in there, that's food items. And then we also have hygienic items as well, such as roll-on deodorant, toothpaste, toothbrushes within that rectangular box. We have shampoos, conditioners, body lotion. We have other supplies such as like a Mylar emergency blanket, tissues, combs, razors, as well as like a pair of socks. So we provide this to our clients, but not only to our clients, we also provide this to the Reentry Resource Center if they're needing any immediate hygiene kits or care packages to provide to their clients as well. And as Justin mentioned earlier, we are also working with certain departments within the judicial courthouse. So we're also able to provide certain departments with these care packages as well. So usually this is one of like our signature easiest ways to provide immediate resources for the client, especially, you know, if they're needing food services or if they're just needing specific hygiene kits, we can provide this for them as well. You can all see this, right?
Yep.
Okay, thank you. So here's just another couple of photos of the team during the holiday season. Our holiday season, we did want to kind of give back to the clients that have been active and engaged with us. So we were kind of also able to provide them with meals as well as a way of saying thank you for being engaged and that we're here for you. So that was something that they really enjoyed, and we hope to do that again this year. And then this is our business card with our contact information on there. And I saw some questions already within the chats, but yes, this is the linked program. And thank you all so much for listening to Justin and I.
Thank you so much, Dee and Justin. So yes, I did. It looks like there's a couple questions. One is, do you take donations of clothing?
So unfortunately, we are not a clothing closet, so we would actually reach out to other programs that has clothing readily available for the client. I know that there's one in particular that we go to that's called Sleeping Bags for the Homeless of Santa Clara County. This individual, or it's actually the head chair for this program, has clothes readily available. So if a client is needing certain clothing items, we can then contact that resource that we have on hand and pick up and then provide deliver that to the client. So sometimes there are times where we can have certain clothing items in the office. However, again, we're not a clothing closet, so we are not able to take donations of clothing. And I think there's another question where I asked what if they want to remain in the program after 6 months? Again, it's based on the status of the client where they're at the end of 6 months. So there could be times where, you know, we can express that the client is still needing certain things, or they're almost like readily, you know, they're almost ready to receive another service where we can kind of like be with them until they're able to be transitioned off. But again, it's all based on the consultation between like a case manager and upper management to see if this can be approved. So it all depends.
Hi, everybody. Sorry, my computer did crash. I don't think it would be COVID or doing anything remote over Zoom unless we had some technical issues. So I'm back here. So I thank you, Dee, for taking over. I appreciate that. But if there are any other questions, we have our contact information. We put it down below in the chat. And we'll send out the slides, Alexis, as well as one of our flyers. So if there are any
Perfect.
questions, reach
Thank
out to
you
us.
so much. Yeah, just send those to me and I'll include them with the follow-up. And I did see you guys already both posted your contact information. Since we're a little short on time, I'm just gonna cut off the questions right now and say, if you have questions, please do reach out to them. Thank you both so much for presenting. Very informative, and thank you. Next up, we have a special presentation about the local emergency rental assistance program that I believe recently came out, but I don't know anything about it. So I'm going to turn it over to Christine, who will be sharing that with us today.
Hello, good morning. My name is Christine Flores and I'm with the County of Santa Clara. I've been activated as a disaster service worker to support the isolation and quarantine support program. And I'm here with my colleague Miranda. And Miranda, I'll let you introduce yourself.
Okay, thank you, Christine. Good morning, everyone. I'm Miranda Berciaga here on behalf of the City of San Jose's Local Assistance Branch. Today we'll be presenting a rescue and relief toolkit. The goal of this presentation is to share relief programs that are available and compile the information into one document for your easy access. We will share a copy of these slides with you all that will go out after this. And with that, we could go ahead and get started. So today I'll cover information on 2 emergency rental assistance programs, discuss who is eligible to apply, what type of documentation is needed, and where application assistance can be found. Then Christine will present additional information on the Rescue and Relief Toolkit that has all of this information, along with federal, state, COVID-19, and local assistance resources. Next slide. So what is the Emergency Rental Assistance Program? It provides financial assistance to income qualified tenants experiencing housing instability. For background, Governor Newsom signed Senate Bill 91, which extends eviction protections to June 30th, 2021, and allocated $2.6 billion in federal rent assistance. There is also another round of funding that comes from the American Rescue Plan, which provides $1.1 billion for California and $26 million for high needs areas, and that's for to support emergency rental assistance. Under SB 91, tenants have to pay 25% of past due rent by June 30th, 2021 in order to keep themselves in their home under the current extended eviction protections. Now, there are 2 programs that provide financial assistance. The first is run by the state, and it's targeted to support tenants that are above 80% of the area median income and below or above 30% of the area median income and below 80% AMI. The second program is a partnership comprised of the City of San Jose, County of Santa Clara, and about 50 nonprofit partners led by Destination Home and Sacred Heart, which is the Santa Clara County Homelessness Prevention System COVID-19 response. And both programs are taking applications to support back rent and forward rent. And the programs have an income bifurcation. So to help determine what program an applicant can apply to, visit the website sccrenthelp.org or call 211 for more information. And at this time, applications submitted from households that are at the greatest risk of eviction will be prioritized first. The important thing to remember, and we hope you take away, is that the eviction moratorium ends June 30th, 2021. Assistance is available, so those who need it should apply. Next slide. So in this slide, we have a flyer with income limits. The income limits include an eligibility that's based on the household's total income for the calendar year 2020, or confirmation of the household's monthly income at the time of the application. When we take a look at this income chart, and if you're wondering what program an applicant should apply to. Under the household size column, if you're working with a family of 4 and their income is less than 49,700, then they should apply to the local Santa Clara County Homelessness Prevention System program. However, if a family of 4 is making over 49,700 or less than 117,750, then they could apply for the state's California COVID-19 rent relief program. And the income limits are separated. That way, the Santa Clara County is helping those that are extremely low income, and the state is taking care of everyone below 80%, above 30% and below 80% AMI. To get started on the application, applicants will need an email address, but there are many partners available to assist applicants with creating an email or help them gather the necessary documentation to apply. We also heard from one of our partners earlier on this call today too. Now let's take a look at the payment structure. So why does this program work and what is the benefit? When a landlord and tenants work together, the state can pay up to 80% back rent if the landlord agrees to waive 20%. However, if a landlord does not respond to a tenant's request, then the tenant will receive 25% back rent, which is enough to be covered by the eviction moratorium guidelines. The good news is that the governor has announced the state program will transition to pay 100% back rent, even if a landlord does not participate. That then increases the amount of support to cover 100% back rent, and there's help paying past due utilities at 100%, as well as help paying for future rent and utility bills. For now, the state program website still says 80% will be paid, since the additional funding will be implemented through the state budget process. On the local program side, it pays 100% back rent, and residents may also qualify for direct financial assistance, which can be used to cover utilities and other critical needs. And yes, and earlier this week, I would say last week, the state announced that they were making their application portal much easier, which requires less paperwork and uploads, more self-attestations, and it takes less time to complete, which is around 30 minutes. It will also include pop-up tips throughout the portal to help applicants understand exactly what they need to do. And so if you know someone that has already started the application process, or if you helped someone in the past, they won't have to re-upload their application or restart the process. The state will take what program they've already submitted so far. And on this next page, we have an example of the 80-20 payment structure. So this is how it looks right now, but again, the state is transitioning to pay 100% of the back rent owed, but that'll take some time later in this month due to the state budget process. So for now, an example is if there is $1,000, if a tenant owes $1,000 a month and they have $12,000 in total rent owed, if the tenant paid $3,000, which is 25%, then the state of California will pay 80% of unpaid rent, which in this case is $7,200. Then the landlord will forgive 20% in unpaid rent over the period, $1,800. Then the total rent recovered by the landlord in this case would be $10,200 or 85%. In the example 2, same scenario that there's $12,000 in total rent owed. If the tenant pays $6,000 or 50%, the state of California will pay 80% unpaid rent, which is $4,800. Then the landlord forgives 20% in unpaid rent over the period, $1,200. Then the total rent recovered by the landlord will be $10,800 or 90%. It's also important to note that there is no minimum payment requirement that an applicant has to do before starting the application for the state or local program to request rental relief. On the next slide, we have who is eligible. So federal guidance was just updated on May 7th, which makes it easier to qualify. These impacts can be direct or indirect due to COVID-19, and to be applicants that will not be asked about their citizenship, nor will they be required to show proof of citizenship. In addition to these eligibility requirements, The ERA2 funds are a bit broader in how it defines COVID impacts, and ERA2 comes from the American Rescue Plan funding. So if someone loses a job or hours during the time of emergency, then they would also be considered eligible to qualify for this relief. And the funds may be used for back rent and forward rent, utility payments, and other housing expenses. It can also help with relocation costs, motel rent, and mobile home space rent. And so the emergency rental assistance, the first round of funding may be used through September 30th, 2022. And the second round of funding from the American Rescue Plan must be used by September 30th, 2025. So this funding will last a while, but we want to make sure that our residents know that it's available before the eviction moratorium ends on June 30th of this year. Next, we have required documents for rental assistance. For landlords, they can apply for multiple units back rent, but are required to inform tenants before applying on their behalf. And they're required to have an IRS W-9 form, proof of residence, ownership, and proof of rent owed. For a tenant, they would need to show proof of identity, income, tenancy, and proof of rent or utilities owed. And later in this slide, we'll show some examples of that because the state has put together a toolkit that has different examples of what they could show for different documentation. And next slide. So what are the role of our community partners and why we're here today is to promote the emergency rental assistance program. Approximately 25,634 Santa Clara County households owe 157 million in back rent, which averages to about 6,136 per household, according to the National Equity Atlas dashboard. However, we believe the need may be higher. For example, applications from extremely low income households to the state program were averaging about $12,000 per household in aid requests. So we just want to make sure that we're connecting with all of our networks to share that this information is out there and that the assistance is available, and that we have many partners that are available to help households put in their application as well. And so both applicants and tenants will have questions or may be unaware, which is why we're here working together to inform all our partners that they can receive this assistance. And on this next slide is a copy of the state programs toolkit. And so to assist with application process and outreach, the state has put together a Dropbox full of reference materials, including an overview of the program information, eligibility requirements, talking points, and outreach materials in 6 different languages. And if you head over to the housingiskey.com website, you'll also see on the website, it's in different languages as well. So really making sure that we're able to provide multilingual assistance. And the next slide, there's some more materials, which it includes landlord and tenant checklists. And these documents provide insight to help applicants gather the appropriate documentation before they apply. So for example, it has 3 eligibility questions and examples of how they will verify ID. So it can be a government issued birth certificate, driver's license, or identification card. What I've also seen is in the new guidance, or the new application portal, it also lets other government IDs work as well. Employment identification card or marriage license or certified divorce license too. For income verification, it could be an IRS tax form, W-2 tax form, most recent pay stub, or employer generated salary report. And so in here, if you're working with someone and they're not sure what to bring, this would be a good flyer to print out and share with the community. And next slide, we have some application help. And so we have 4 partners that are a part of the state's program. And so it's Catholic Charities of Santa Clara County, Project Sentinel, California Rural Legal Assistance, and the International Rescue Committee. There's also application webinar recordings to help tenants or landlords or even yourself if you want to learn more about the process to apply. There's application workshops in English, Spanish, and Vietnamese. And there will also be pop-up application workshops. And so I'll be able to share that flyer with the host later this evening, because we are translating those flyers in Spanish and Vietnamese as well. And so if someone needs direct assistance in person, we can share where they could go to receive that type of help. There's also the local program that has put together a file that includes sample content you could use to help spread the word about the rental assistance. And it's given the way these rent assistance programs work side by side, we encourage all partners to share information on both programs in their communication. And in these files, it includes information in English, Spanish, Vietnamese, and in the coming week, Chinese. And additional languages will be added as needed in the weeks ahead. And in order to help our residents apply through the proper front door, we're asking all our partners to use these dual program materials. This would apply to things like your email newsletter, website, social media accounts, or any mass flyering. You'll also see these materials point to the Santa Clara County website, sccrenthelp.org or 211, which serves as a central referral point for referring residents to the proper rent assistance program. And last that I'll show here is more application help. So this is our multilingual application assistance through the local program, through the Santa Clara County Homelessness Prevention System, which includes almost 50 nonprofit partners. And so if you're working with someone who, let's say, only speaks Portuguese or Vietnamese, you can look at this flyer and then go ahead and call that helpline to be referred to someone that can help in the language needed. And with that, I'll go ahead and pass it over to Christine to share additional resources.
Thank you, Miranda. So in addition to the resources for the Emergency Rental Assistance Program, there are other critical state and federal resources we want to share with you, such as the FEMA Funeral Assistance, Cal EITC, Golden State Stimulus, and the Child Tax Credit. So the FEMA Funeral Assistance will assist with expenses for funeral services and interment and cremation. Please call 844-684-6333 to apply. The California Earned Income Tax Credit is a refundable cashback tax credit for qualified low to moderate income Californians. The Golden State Stimulus assists Californian households with incomes below $30,000, as well as those who did not receive federal stimulus relief. And the expanded child tax credit will deliver advanced payments beginning July 15th. Parents will receive up to $3,600 for children ages 0 to 5, and up to $3,000 per child for children ages 6 to 17. Also, the links are here embedded, so please go ahead and access the website at your convenience to get additional information on these great programs. Okay, and so there are other resources also too, such as the Broadband Benefit Program, which provides temporary discounts on monthly broadband bills and connected internet devices for qualifying low-income households. The Affordable Home Internet, which will provide internet service for as low as $10 to $20 a month. Assistance with the internet service and application and enrollment questions, please call 408-829-9855. Next is the Arrearage Management Plan, which is a new payment plan option to help qualifying residential customers reduce unpaid gas and electricity balances on their bill. To apply, call 1-800-743-5000. And lastly, on the slide, the Homeowner Assistance Fund may be used for assistance with mortgage payments, homeowners insurance, utility payments, and other specified purposes. Now I will go over some local resources. So in addition to the state and federal resources, the County of Santa Clara has established a variety of resources for individuals and families impacted by COVID-19. You can find these resources online in the COVID-19 resource directory or by calling 211. But I want to describe some of the programs briefly so you can also share that information with your clients. So the first is the isolation and quarantine program, and that's a program that I am a manager and I oversee parts of the program. So what we do is we provide rental assistance, financial assistance to individuals impacted by COVID-19. In addition, the program provides grocery deliveries and motel placements for those who cannot safely isolate at home. And in terms of the grocery deliveries, because we don't want the clients to go out into the community while they're infectious, that's why we provide the grocery deliveries to them, their home. Next is the COVID-19 testing. Please go on that website to schedule regular testing. Next is the food distribution. So for food assistance, call 1-800-984-3663. Next is the homelessness response. So the county is responding to calls Monday to Friday from 9 a.m. to 6 p.m. So please call 408-278-6420. And that's for unhoused individuals and vulnerable individuals who cannot safely isolate at home if they are COVID positive or exposed. We may be able to get them a motel placement to keep them safe. Lastly is vaccination information. So please go on to sccfreevax.org. As you know, the county is prioritizing vaccinations. So individuals ages 12 and older are eligible to be vaccinated. Okay. And so lastly, we have the Santa Clara County Resource Guide, and this was created by the Social Services Agency. And it includes a variety of resources ranging from homelessness services, medical, mental, food, and employment programs. These are safety net programs, which are available to families in need during COVID times and also non-COVID times. So it is updated annually by the Social Services Agency. So right here is a link. So when you get a copy of the presentation, you could go ahead and click this and it will route you to the resource guide. And I will pass it back to Miranda.
Okay, thank you. And so that wraps up our presentation. And I do see a question in here, are undocumented folks eligible for the Golden State stimulus? The state has been referring people to apply for the Cali ITC tax credit first, and then that may qualify them for the Golden State stimulus. They do need an ITIN number, and they don't have to be, let me see, let me just pull up the flyer. I was just looking at it. No social security number, no problem. Taxpayers with an individual taxpayer identification number, including undocumented immigrants, are eligible for the Cal EITC and then Golden State stimulus as well. And so next steps will provide this presentation with links that Christine and I shared in it, as well as a PDF toolkit that has some eligibility information and other resources that we covered. And with that, I'll end this presentation and share it back to the host to take over.
Hi, thank you so much for all this information. That is great. And yes, I have all the information that I will be sending out with the follow-up. And yeah, does anyone, I know we're running over on time, but does anyone have any quick questions while we're all still here?
I have a quick question. So everything that we talked about and all the resources, like she just showed how it had all the resources on that page. Do we have that, Alexis, like as your group? You know, I wrote a bunch of things down from the talks today, but.
Yeah, so I don't know if you're part of the SPN email listserv or not, but I will CC you when I send out the follow-up email, so you will get all these resources regardless.
Thank you.
Yeah, of course. Anyone else have any quick last questions? And Miranda and Christine, is it appropriate for people to contact you if they have questions about any of this? And if so, could you throw it in the chat or send me an email so I can include it in the follow-up? Yeah.
Yeah, we could share, or I'll share my email at least, and then if there's questions, we could direct you to the right person. Yeah.
Perfect. Thank you. Well, all right. If there is no other questions, clearly we didn't get to the last section today, the open communication section, but that's all good. We have the SPN email list that you can communicate on. If there's anything you need to blast out to everyone or ask about. So sorry we went a couple minutes over, but there was some pretty important and useful information shared today. So thank you all so much, especially to our presenters for taking the time to present to us and to let us know about the resources that exist in our community. And thank you all for spending your Wednesday morning with us here today. I will be sending out that email to everyone, and we will see you all next month for July's SPN meeting. Take care, everyone, and have a great Wednesday.